So Apple just, and I mean like 10 seconds ago, finished their live presentation for the September event, and I gotta admit, I am blown away. I'm blown away by a lot of things. What's up, everyone? I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. We released that video a couple of days ago about the iPad Air 4, like the rumors and things that we had hoped to see, and I gotta be honest, everything's better. Everything is better than I could have hoped. So we're gonna go through their options and we're gonna check out what they did in their event. I took some notes. Let's get right to it. So the first thing you can see, like right off the bat, they did do the design aesthetic from the iPad Pro. So the iPad Air last year, they had the big bezels, and nobody likes big bezels if you don't have to have them. This is more like the iPad Pro, and it looks gorgeous. They call it their all-screen design. It looks incredible. And it does have a liquid retina display, which I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this thing. Now, it is gonna be a little bit smaller than the iPad Pros. The iPad Pro is in an 11-inch version and a 12.9-inch version. This is in 10.9 inches, which is pretty darn close. If not, I mean, it's probably gonna be so close that you're not gonna be able to tell the difference. But so here's the thing that, yes, if you look at the iPad Pro of earlier this year and the iPad Air that's coming out soon, the iPad Pro, you know, it's still gonna have a lot of the better functionality, a lot of the better features. But the thing that has me won over about the iPad Air is what we said during that rumor video. So the rumors were true. There is Touch ID and it's built into the on-off switch. So I'm very, very excited for this. You've heard me mention this quite a bit, that I think Face ID is great. The world where Face ID can be your primary only way of unlocking your device, that no longer exists. So I am very excited to see the new way that they did Touch ID on the iPad Air. And when we're talking about power, this is powered by the A14. So the first time an iPad has gotten the new processor before the iPhone. And I think that's really key to show that just like how popular, I mean, if you watched the live stream, you saw them talk about just how popular the iPad is. Like, iPad is currently taking over the world because my iPad Pro does everything. The only thing that I do not do on my iPad Pro is I do not do my video editing on this. I could do my video editing on this, but I prefer the grading tools that I get in Resolve, so I use a desktop computer for my video editing. But everything else that I do in my life is done on the iPad Pro, and this iPad Air has the new A14 Bionic chip in it, which I want to check my notes here so that I'm not leading you astray, but this thing has some crazy specs on it. It's built out of the 5nm process technology, which just means it's so thin. They're able to fit so many more transistors in because of how thin the technology is. They're measured in nanometers. This thing has 11.8 billion transistors in this chip, and it's 40% more transistors than their 7nm chip. Now, when it comes to like tech specs or tech nerd stuff, don't worry about the transistors so much, but the CPU in the iPad Air is a 6-core CPU with a 4-core GPU. Tell me what other computers out there that you can get with the 6-core CPU and a 4-core GPU. I cannot believe the A14 is just, it's crazy. 2 times faster graphics, a 16-core neural engine for machine learning and stuff like that. Wild, wild. It will also have support for the Apple Pencil, the one that works with the iPad Pro that magnetically clips on and charges, which hooray! I never use it, but I'm glad that it's there. That's pretty exciting. The Magic Keyboard! When they said the Magic Keyboard part, I actually screamed out in joy. And my wife's like, what's going on? Are you okay? What's going on down there? Like, I get it. The iPad Air, we'll talk about price here in a second when we go through like the pricing. The iPad Air is not as expensive as the iPad Pro. It's not necessarily targeting the same market as the iPad Pro. So a Magic Keyboard is a little like, maybe that's too expensive of an accessory for such a cheaper iPad. But I use my Magic Keyboard for everything, and I will be using this iPad Air for everything. So having the Magic Keyboard, it'll give you an extra charging port. Oh, so good. And there's even something else that I'm excited for it to show up here. The colors are crazy. Instead of space gray, silver, gold, we get silver, space gray, gold. What's going on here, Apple? What's going on here? I'm kidding. You get green, and you get sky blue. That sky blue is the one that I'm gonna be buying. The colors, you gotta have fun with make technology fun again, as Mr. Tech Rant would say. Like, you gotta have fun with this stuff. It's not all about specs and arguing with each other. I like fun colors. I'll be buying the blue. We already talked about the performance, but it's gonna be crazy on this thing. You can already edit 4K video on an iPad. Like the iPad Series 7 can edit 4K video, and it doesn't have anything nearly this powerful. Editing 4K video you'll have no problems with this. Like 4K video, this thing will laugh at 4K video. I wish they'd start talking about like 6 and 8K video, because I've even, on the iPad Pro, I've been able to edit 6K video with no problems. They say all day battery life, which also I believe one of the big benefits of Apple's silicon chips is not necessarily that the battery life, I'm trying to think of how to say this. It's not that the battery life is something crazy like, oh, it's in use, the battery lasts forever. It is very good for that, but the thing that Apple Silicon that I find does the best is it's like in battery preservation. So when you're not using the device, it loses almost no power. So how often are you actually typing at a computer for like 8 hours? Normally for me, when I'm working in my like professional business, I'll be typing, I'll stop, I'll type, I'll stop. The screen will turn off, I'll go to a meeting, type, stop, type, stop. It's a lot of like short bursts, and I feel like we lose a lot of that power during the unburst time. But what Apple really wins on, especially with the iPads, is the unburst time has almost no loss in battery life. So yes, it is all day battery life. So one of the cool things about this new display is you can see it's 10.9 inch liquid retina true tone P3 wide color. What that means is it will be very color accurate. So if you do want to use it for like video editing or photo editing, it will be color accurate. Every screen is calibrated a little bit differently. So what you're really trying to do is, if you're not going to professionally color calibrate your monitor like I have with my editing monitor, you want it to be as close as possible, and P3 wide color is it's fantastic. We'll have a 12 megapixel back camera with 7 megapixel FaceTime HD. Sounds like 720. Hopefully it's 1080p. Hopefully it's not 720. That's the one thing now that I'm like, man, I hope they didn't go back to 720 for that front camera. Okay, here's the big thing. Here's the big thing for me. The one thing in that rumors video that I wanted to come true, and thank goodness it did. So we got the smart connector. That's great. We'll have the Magic Keyboard, but we will also have USB-C. Oh, USB-C. I'm telling, like, Lightning, your reign is over, my friend. USB-C is the best. This will allow the iPad to use all sorts of accessories. It'll transfer files faster. You'll be able to use external drives, cameras, audio devices. Everything is now built on USB-C, and it's so great to see that the iPad Air will have USB-C. But the cool thing, if you haven't used an iPad Pro yet, if you get the Magic Keyboard, it will have USB-C that you can use here for all of the dongles that you could want, which have HDMI, SD card, all that cool stuff. But then you can charge it via the USB-C on the keyboard, which, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this iPad Air. Like, I could gush about this all day long, but they stopped the recording. I wanted to come share my thoughts with you. And iPadOS 14 will be coming with the iPad Air. So good. So good. It will be available in October, which we can't pre-order it right now, unfortunately, but let's set it up like we would be buying it. So I would be buying Sky Blue. You can get the base model with 64 gigabytes of storage for $599. I'll probably go 256 gigabyte. I am kind of sad though. I do wish there was a 1 terabyte version, but maybe it's just not possible in that small size. 256 gigabyte will be fine for me. So we can do Wi-Fi cellular. I'll probably also get cellular with mine. So my model looks like it'll be the Sky Blue, 256 gigabytes of storage, Wi-Fi plus cellular, and no engraving. That will come to $879. Now you tell me, viewer, you tell me another computer that has a 6-core processor, a 4-core GPU, 256 gigabytes of solid state drive, a liquid retina display that's P3 color accurate, USB-C, and has access to all these accessories. You tell me what can do that, because nothing else can do that. This is insane. This will be one of the best computers ever made it. And I don't mean tablet. I mean, this will be one of the best computers that has thus far been released in the market, and I can't wait to get it. Which one? Are you as excited as I am for the iPad Air? Leave me a comment down below. And what are you? Are you planning on getting one? And what's your favorite color? Let me know what your favorite color is down below too. And if you liked this video and you're like, Gary, I can't wait till October, I need something now, the iPad Pro is fantastic. And here's my whole playlist on the iPad Pro that you can find right here. And you should definitely click and go watch that after watching this. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.